Right, Emma. We talk a lot about affiliate marketing, don't we? But what I've been thinking lately, it's not just about the tactics, is it? It's truly about, well, a whole different way of seeing things. Going beyond the usual cookie cutter approaches that everyone else seems to be pushing.
Oh, absolutely, James. I've noticed that too. It feels like there's so much noise out there, everyone rehashing the same few ideas. But when you say a different way of seeing things, what exactly do you mean? Are we talking like a philosophical shift here, or more of a strategic pivot in how you even approach the whole game?
It's a bit of both, actually. It's about rejecting the idea that there's one right way to do it. See, a lot of people, they get stuck in this mindset of, I need to find a product, slap up a review, and pray for clicks, right? But what if we looked at it from a much broader perspective, thinking about, well, how can I genuinely add value in a unique way that's not just, another top 10 list? It's about some really digging into the problem a customer faces and providing a solution that, for them, feels truly bespoke, even if it's, an affiliate link. It's a proper mindset shift, honestly.
That makes sense. So instead of just chasing the trending products or the highest commissions, it's about becoming more of a problem solver, a trusted advisor almost. But that sounds like it takes a lot more upfront effort, doesn't it? Like, you really have to understand your audience on a deeper level. How do you even begin to cultivate that kind of mindset, especially when you're just starting out and maybe feeling a bit overwhelmed by everything?
That's a brilliant question, Emma, and it actually ties into our next point beautifully: overlooked niche discovery. See, the common advice is find a big niche, go for it. But the problem is, everyone's doing that. The real alchemy, the real power, comes from finding those micro niches, those underserved communities that have very specific, often intense needs. You're not just looking for a product, you're looking for a problem that maybe only 1,000 people have, but they're desperate for a solution, and they're willing to pay for it.
Okay, so like instead of weight loss, which is super broad, maybe it's weight loss for busy single parents who work night shifts or something really, really specific like that. That sounds quite challenging to find, though. How do you even go about digging into those kinds of specific, almost hidden needs? Is it all just keyword research, or is there a more human element to it?
Oh, it's absolutely a human element. Keyword research is a start, obviously, but it's not the whole story. What you want to do is immerse yourself. Think about forums, niche subreddits, Facebook groups that are really specific. Look for the questions people are asking repeatedly, the frustrations they express, the terminology they use that you might not find in typical keyword tools. I often look at Amazon reviews, that not just the 5-star ones. Read the 3-star reviews. They often highlight what a product doesn't do well, which points to a gap in the market. Do you know what I mean? It's about empathy, really.
Wow, that's a clever hack, reading the 3-star reviews. I never thought of that. So it's about finding the pain points that aren't being fully addressed, even by existing products. That makes total sense. It sounds like you're not just looking for a niche, but almost like a community with an unmet need. And then you position yourself as the person who can help them find that missing piece through a careful product recommendation.
Precisely, and once you've identified that underserved community, then you pivot to unconventional traffic generation. Forget for a moment about paid ads or SEO in the traditional sense. We're talking about getting in front of those people where they already gather. Think about contributing genuinely valuable content to those forums, those subreddits, those specialist blogs. Not just dropping a link, mind you, but actually becoming a helpful, authoritative voice within that community first. It builds incredible trust.
Right. So it's not about spamming Reddit with your affiliate links. It's more about becoming a recognized expert, someone people actually want to listen to and take advice from. But how do you do that without it feeling forced or obviously self-serving? because people on those platforms are pretty savvy. They can smell a shill a mile away.
Absolutely, they can. The trick is, well, it's not really a trick, it's sincerity. First point, actually understand the community's rules and etiquette. Second point, contribute genuinely. Answer questions, offer insights, share resources that aren't yours. Build up karma, upvotes, credibility. Only then, once you've established yourself as a genuine contributor, do you occasionally, very subtly, introduce a solution that happens to be an affiliate product, but only if it's perfectly aligned with what someone's asking for. It's about dark social traffic, isn't it? Very powerful when done right.
Dark social. I like that term. It really highlights the less visible, more authentic interactions. So it's building up social capital first, becoming a trusted member, and then, if the opportunity naturally arises, you share a relevant solution. It sounds like a slower burn than traditional methods, but potentially much more potent because of that built-in trust factor.
It's a slower burn, yes, but the returns are immense, and it flows really well into another unconventional traffic method, content repurposing and synergy. Most affiliates, they create one piece of content, say a blog post, and then they just, leave it there. But what if you took that blog post, turned it into a series of TikTok videos, or an infographic for Pinterest, or a short audio clip for Twitter? See, you're hitting different platforms, different audience preferences, all from one core piece of valuable information. You're creating synergy across platforms.
Okay, I'm with you. So essentially, you're getting more mileage out of your existing content, which makes a lot of sense, especially when you're spending all that time creating high-quality stuff for those micro niches. But how do you decide what to repurpose into what? Like, is there a particular strategy for converting a long-form article into something like an Instagram reel or a short podcast snippet?
Absolutely. The thing is, well, you don't just chop it up randomly, right? First, you identify the core, most impactful points from your original piece. Let's say it's your blog post about the 5 unseen benefits of organic compost for urban gardeners. You might take each benefit and turn it into a 60-second video on TikTok, illustrating it visually. Or you extract key quotes and data points for shareable images on LinkedIn or Pinterest. The key is to adapt the format to the platform's native style, not just copy-paste. You're meeting the audience where they are, with content formatted for their consumption habits. It's about efficiency, really.
That's brilliant. So it's not just about slapping the same information everywhere, but actually tailoring it to each platform's unique language and user behavior. That's a really smart way to maximize reach without, constantly having to invent new ideas from scratch. It sounds like it could really amplify your message and bring in traffic from places you might not have considered originally.
Precisely, and once you've got people's attention, then we move into conversion psychology, but not the aggressive buy now kind. We're talking about subtle influence, things like persuasion, where you set the stage before you even present the offer. For instance, if you're selling a productivity tool, instead of just launching into its features, you might first talk about the universal struggle with distractions in the modern world, making people feel understood, You're warming them up to the problem before you drop the solution.
Oh, that's super interesting. So it's almost like preparing the ground before planting the seed. You're getting them into the right frame of mind to receive your recommendation. But how subtle are we talking here? Is there a risk of being too subtle and people not even realizing that you're eventually leading them to a product?
That's a valid concern. The line is, it's thin, but it's there. It's not about being ambiguous. It's about building genuine empathy and context. You're telling a story, setting a scene. For example, before reviewing a high-end coffee machine, you don't just list its specs. You talk about the ritual of morning coffee, the aroma, the joy of a perfectly brewed cup at home. You create the desire for the experience first, and then your affiliate product becomes the natural conduit to that experience. It's not about manipulation, it's about alignment between desire and solution. Do you know what I mean? It feels natural, not forced.
I see. So you're essentially painting a picture of the ideal outcome and then positioning the product as the tool to achieve that outcome. It's more about selling the transformation rather than just the features. That sounds like a much more powerful and, frankly, more ethical approach than, just pushing products. It builds a deeper connection too, I imagine.
Absolutely, it really, really does. And building on that, another huge part of advanced conversion psychology is understanding micro-commitments and journey mapping. Most people expect a prospect to go from "never heard of this" to "buy now" in one step. That's just not how humans operate, is it? We need small, almost imperceptible steps. A micro-commitment could be signing up for a free checklist, watching a short video, or even just leaving a comment on your blog post. Each small commitment builds trust and moves them a little further down the path.
Okay, so it's like gently guiding them along a path rather than shoving them off a cliff. I get that. So instead of asking for the big sale right away, you're asking for like mini agreements or small actions that indicate engagement. But how do you actually map out that journey effectively, especially for, different types of affiliate products?
Well, the thing is, you start by visualizing the ideal customer journey. First point, what's the absolute first, lowest friction thing you can ask them to do? Maybe it's clicking a Learn More button that leads to a detailed, genuinely helpful guide. Second point, once they've consumed that, what's the next logical step? Perhaps it's a free tool or a webinar. You're not asking for their credit card until you've delivered significant value and built significant rapport. Each step should be a tiny yes that leads naturally to the next. It's a bit like a series of very gentle nudges, isn't it? Not a hard sell.
That makes so much sense. So you're not just thinking about the final conversion, but about all the small conversions along the way that build trust and familiarity. It sounds like it helps to qualify leads better too, because anyone who goes through those micro commitments is probably genuinely interested, right? They've invested a bit of their time already.
Exactly. It's all about qualification and nurturing. And this leads us to what I think is just so vital for sustainable affiliate success: building evergreen assets. Too many affiliates are chasing the quick commission, aren't they? One-off sales, never really building anything lasting. But the real game changer is creating assets that continue to generate value long after you've created them. Think email lists, building your own engaged community, or even a library of high-quality evergreen content on your own platform. These are things you own.
Oh, that's a huge point, James. It's like, instead of just being a middleman, you're building your own independent platform and audience. That makes so much sense for long-term stability. But what are some of the most overlooked evergreen assets that affiliate marketers should really be focusing on right now, beyond like just a standard blog?
Well, obviously an email list is paramount. It's your direct line to your audience, immune to algorithm changes. But beyond that, I'm talking about a private community, perhaps on Discord or a dedicated forum, where people can interact with each other and with you. That builds fierce loyalty and social proof. Also, think about creating premium lead magnets that are so good people would pay for them, but you offer them free in exchange for an email. Or even short, focused online courses that guide people through a specific problem, subtly integrating affiliate recommendations. These things build authority and trust. They're your proper assets.
Wow, private communities and premium lead magnets? That's definitely taking it up a notch. It sounds like you're creating a whole ecosystem around your recommendations, not just a single link. That makes the entire operation feel a lot more robust and less susceptible to, external market fluctuations or platform changes. It's about securing your future, really.
Precisely, Emma. Future-proofing, that's the word. And as you scale, the next crucial but often overlooked aspect is ethical scaling. You see, it's easy to get caught up in growth numbers and start cutting corners, pushing products you don't truly believe in, or using deceptive tactics. But true sustainable growth, the kind that lasts, it demands absolute integrity. It's about being transparent, always disclosing your affiliate relationships clearly, and only promoting products that genuinely, absolutely benefit your audience. It's paramount.
That's a really important distinction because I think a lot of people worry that scaling automatically means like becoming less authentic or more aggressive. So how do you maintain that high level of integrity and, trustworthiness as your operations get bigger and you're potentially dealing with more products and a much larger audience?
It comes down to setting clear, non-negotiable standards from the outset. First point, rigorous product vetting. If you wouldn't personally use it or recommend it to your nan, don't promote it. Simple as that. Second point, be totally transparent about why you're recommending something. Explain its pros and cons. Don't just paint a rosy picture. Third point, prioritize audience feedback. If people are consistently unhappy with a product you've promoted, reevaluate. It's about building a brand of trust, isn't it? Not just a revenue stream. That brand is your ultimate asset, actually.
That's a really good framework. So it's about having a strong moral compass guiding your expansion, rather than just chasing profit. And I guess ultimately that builds a much more loyal and engaged audience anyway, because they know they can rely on your recommendations. It sounds like ethical scaling is not just good for your conscience, but good for your bottom line in the long run too.
Precisely. Long-term gains over short-term wins every time. And speaking of data, another unconventional approach is what I call data-driven intuition. Most affiliates look at clicks, conversions, revenue, right? Those are the obvious metrics. But what about the unseen signals? The comments that express confusion, the bounce rate on a specific section of a page, the time spent on a non-converting piece of content. These qualitative insights, when combined with quantitative data, they unlock totally different perspectives on what's actually resonating or what's falling flat.
Ooh, unseen signals. That sounds almost like detective work. I mean, obviously everyone looks at the big numbers, but digging into the nuances of user behavior beyond just did they click or not, that's a whole other level. So what are some of those specific unseen signals that you found to be particularly insightful in affiliate marketing?
Right, so one thing I absolutely love is looking at engagement metrics on content before the call to action. Is your video being watched all the way through? Are people commenting thoughtfully on your blog post even if they haven't clicked a link yet? This tells you about content resonance, about whether you're actually connecting. Also, using heat maps to see where people are hovering or struggling on a page before they drop off. It's not just about what they do, but what they don't do and where they pause. That pause sometimes is just as telling as a click, you know? It's about interpreting the full story.
That's super insightful. So it's about understanding the friction points and also where you're truly capturing attention, even if it's not leading to an immediate sale. It sounds like it really helps you refine your content and your funnel, making it more effective in the long run by addressing those subtle areas of concern or, leveraging the areas that are working really well.
Absolutely, it's about refinement. And speaking of expanding your reach, let's talk about the power of collaboration, but again, in an unconventional way. Most affiliates think of competitors as, well, competitors. But what if you looked at non-direct competitors or even complementary businesses as potential partners? Think about a fitness apparel brand partnering with a nutritionist. They're not selling the same thing, but their audiences overlap perfectly. You could do joint webinars, co-create content, or even cross-promote each other's offers. It's a massive win-win that many simply overlook.
Oh, that's really interesting. So instead of just trying to dominate your specific niche, you're looking for synergistic relationships with other businesses that serve the same audience, but in a different way. That opens up so many possibilities, doesn't it? But how do you identify those ideal complementary partners? And then, how do you even approach them with a collaboration idea without it sounding like you're just trying to piggyback off their audience?
It's all about finding genuine alignment. First, list businesses or individuals whose audience is your target audience, but their product service isn't directly competitive. Second, come to them with a clear, mutually beneficial proposal. Don't just say, promote my stuff. Offer to co-host a free workshop, or write a guest post for their blog with a link back to yours, or feature them in your content. Emphasize the value you bring to their audience. It's about we, not me. This really opens up new channels, new audiences, and it builds powerful professional relationships. It's a proper game changer, honestly.
That's super practical advice. So it's about leading with value and demonstrating how the partnership would benefit both sides, especially their audience. It sounds like a much more sustainable and reciprocal way to grow than just trying to outspend your competitors in ads. And it probably builds a stronger brand reputation too, being associated with other respected players.
Absolutely. Reputation is everything. And all these unconventional strategies, they feed into what I like to call future-proofing your affiliate business. The digital landscape, it's constantly changing, isn't it? Algorithms shift, platforms rise and fall, new technologies emerge. If you're solely reliant on one platform, one traffic source, or one type of content, you're incredibly vulnerable. Future-proofing means embracing adaptability, continually learning, and always diversifying your approach. It's about building a business that can weather any storm, honestly.
That's a really crucial point. We've seen so many examples of businesses that were absolutely crushed when a platform changed its rules or, an algorithm update wiped out their traffic overnight. So, what are some of the most important things affiliate marketers should be doing right now to make sure their business is resilient and ready for whatever changes are coming down the pipeline?
Well, obviously, as we said, owning your audience through email lists and communities is paramount. That's your safety net. But beyond that, it's about keeping an eye on emerging tech. Think AI tools for content creation or research, but use them as assistants, not replacements. Experiment with new formats, short-form video, interactive content, audio experiences. Diversify your revenue streams too. Don't just rely on one affiliate program or one product type. And crucially, maintain a growth mindset. Be willing to pivot, to learn new skills, to really embrace change as an opportunity, not a threat. That's the proper long-term play, isn't it?
That makes so much sense. So it's about building a robust foundation with your owned assets, staying curious about new technologies, and constantly being willing to adapt. It sounds like it removes a lot of the anxiety that comes with, relying solely on external platforms. It's about empowering yourself as a business owner, really, and not just being at the mercy of trends.
Exactly, Emma. It's about empowerment. And so to wrap this up, if our listeners take just one thing away from today's chat about affiliate alchemy and unconventional growth hacks, it's this. Don't be afraid to zig when everyone else zags. Step outside the conventional wisdom. Look for the unseen opportunities, the underserved niches, the novel ways to connect. It's not just about working harder, it's about working smarter and more creatively.
I love that. Zig when everyone else zags. It really encapsulates everything we've talked about. So for someone who's feeling inspired right now, but maybe a bit overwhelmed by all these new ideas, what's the very first step you'd recommend they take to start implementing these unconventional strategies?
Right, a proper first step. I'd say start by revisiting your niche. Don't just accept your current one. Can you go deeper? Can you find a micro niche within it that's genuinely underserved? Or, if you're just starting, spend proper time researching communities, not just keywords. Listen more than you speak initially. Identify those specific pain points, and then everything else, all the traffic and conversion stuff, it flows so much more naturally from that solid understanding. It's truly foundational, isn't it?
That's fantastic advice, James. Start with the foundation, the deep understanding of your audience and their specific needs.
It's like building a really strong house. You need a solid base before you can add all the fancy decor. Thanks so much for sharing all these incredible insights and really getting me thinking differently about affiliate marketing today.
My absolute pleasure, Emma. Always a joy. And remember, everyone, keep those growth hacks unconventional, won't you? See you next